Hey everyone, welcome back to What's Up Wednesday. I am your host, Brittany McAllister. I am a realtor based in Omaha, Nebraska, and each week I upload these videos about what's going on in our local real estate market, all of our local happenings, anything going on that's exciting with our clients, our team, or any events that we have going on. We do some no dumb questions where I answer questions that you guys might have about real estate, and that's what we've got. So let's get into it. I always like to start with the market update because it's been really interesting, to watch week over week, but then also to look back and see, okay, what happened this month. So obviously today is January 31st and it is the final day of the month. It's also Wednesday. So it's interesting to see what happened, in the last month. And so here in Omaha, at least, things are definitely heating up, just as we kind of suspected they would as rates continue to drop this month. That's really where we saw movement happening. There's a lot more buyers getting into the market. The sellers that were on the fence are, they're maybe the interest rates getting down to 6% got them off the fence enough to list their home, or there's still a lot of relocation happening as well into and out of Omaha, and of course, just all the normal reasons that people move. So let's talk about what's happening what had happened in the last week. There are currently 455 existing homes for sale. Now, that's the least amount of houses that we've had so far in my video series this year, as far as existing homes for sale. 189 new construction homes are listed for sale. And so total about 644 houses. And again, that's less than the previous week. And I'm looking back, it's about 40 less houses than the week before that. So about 30 to 40 houses less. Now, nothing, super extreme, but for example, on January 10th, we had 500 existing homes, 503. And today, like I said, that number is 455. So that is 50 houses is a lot of houses. And so we are, like we've been talking about this whole time, a little bit of an inventory shortage. And that's what has landed us in this seller's market that we're in. So that's what's going on the active houses. There's 173 homes that went pending in the last week. That's been about the same. I think actually it's a little bit more, but right in that 150 to 170. Now, just listed, I pulled this number for the first time this week, and I'll keep an eye on this as well, but I thought this was interesting. So there was 142 houses that were listed in the last week that I was going to say were already under contract, but that are still for sale, and the rest of them had already gone under contract just in the last week. And so I don't know if that makes sense. I'll make it make sense next time. But sometimes I can't read my handwriting. I think it's a great idea. And then we get going. I'm like, what was I talking about? So no, I think the biggest thing with the market update this week is that we are seeing multiple offers. We are seeing buyers with escalation clauses again, which we'll get into in no dumb questions. We are seeing, all of those things. And so I think it's important to note, I don't think it's necessarily a scary thing. I think just as always, it's important to have your ducks in a row to know what your real estate goals are before you get into the market. And that's why we have these conversations. So that's what's going on in the market. This weekend is our 4th annual Putt-Putt event. And I'm so excited. I've been talking about it each week. We always collect donuts. We always collect diapers for a local charity, and we just love this putt-putt event. It was the first event that I ever put on as a real estate agent for my clients, and so it's just near and dear to my heart now that we've grown and we have other events. I just love this one. It's indoors. It's fun. It's on your own terms. It's on your own time. You guys show up. You get to golf indoors, putt-putt, and hang out with your family for a couple hours doing that. So that's this weekend. If you, for some reason, do not have details, let us know. But don't miss that this weekend. And then now, no dumb questions. So this week's no dumb question, which I kind of alluded to a little bit ago, is what is an escalation clause? So I had 2 clients over the weekend that we wrote offers in situations where they were in a multiple offer situation. And what that means is that there were other offers already on the table for one specific house. And so typically when that happens, what the listing agent will say to us is, hey, come with your highest and best offer, because we're going to look at them all at the same time and decide which offer is best. And so it's funny, I was actually talking to an agent based out of California, and she was saying, what's your market like? Is there a lot of back and forth? Because here in my market, there's a lot of back and forth. And I said, it's funny, depending on the price point, in this case, we were talking about under 300,000. I said, there is really no back and forth, especially when we were in a multiple offer situation. It is put your best foot forward, put what you're comfortable offering out there first, and they're going to decide, do they want it, do they like your offer? Do they not like your offer? And one way that we can do that, there's a few different ways that we can make our offer more appealing, and we could get into it sometime. But for this week, one thing I wanted to talk about is, what is an escalation clause? So an escalation clause is a clause that is put into effect when there is multiple offers. And so the easiest way I think to explain it is to say, if let's say the house is listed at 200,000. We do the comps and we say, hey, I truly do believe that this house could sell for up to 215, 220 and appraise out. I think we would be okay there. Now, that's an extreme example. Either way. So let's say we say, okay, we're going to look at all the numbers. We're going to make sure that you're comfortable with the monthly payment at whatever number you go to. You're going to be comfortable with your cash to close, all of those things. And you say, okay, Brittany, the house is listed at 200. Let's offer 210, because we already know that there's 6 offers on the table. We know that all these other offers are going to be coming in strong as well. Let's start at 210 and let's put an escalation clause. And the escalation clause is where we will say, okay, if at 210,000 our offer is no longer being considered, we agree to increase our offer by X amount up to X amount. So you can say, we will increase our offer by $1,000 up to $216,000. And so if there are other offers that were above 210, let's say it was 212 was the next highest, our escalation clause would come into effect, and it would be, if it was at I don't know what number I just said. We offered 210, let's say the next highest was 212, our escalation clause would say, okay, they get the house at 213. And that listing agent has to show us proof of that other offer that made our offer go higher. So that's the most basic explanation I could get of that. I think that makes sense. And again, I think the most important thing with the escalation clause is that you are comfortable with whatever number you put at the high end. If you're like, hey, let's write it up to 300,000. Well, okay, let's consider our financing options. If we're getting a loan, and is it going to appraise at that price? Yes or no? If it is, and it will, cool. Are you comfortable with the numbers at that price? And so I like to break all of that down with my clients and make sure we discuss that before we submit our offer with an escalation clause. But that was a great question I had this weekend, and we used it on 2 different offers. So thought I would share that with you guys today. And that's really all I have for this week. Keep those questions coming. I love doing this segment. I love sharing questions, sharing what I know about the market. And we will be back next week. It will be February. So that's exciting. We are out of January. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next week.